You know that feeling when you're so tired that the very idea of resting feels like, well, too much work. If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. So in this explainer, based on the incredible work of Ryan Rose, we're going to explore why slowing down can sometimes feel like you're completely falling apart, and how we can find a totally different way to rest.
And right off the bat, this is for anyone who's ever felt guilty for being tired. Like you should just be able to push through or manage it better. If you've ever believed that, then this is for you, because this is where we're going to stop blaming ourselves.
All right, so first up, let's talk about this central paradox. It's this weird thing that happens, right? You're absolutely bone tired, you finally get a chance to stop, and instead of feeling relief, you somehow feel worse. So let's get into why the very act of resting can feel so shaky.
I mean, this really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why is it that when we finally hit the brakes, hoping for this peaceful, restorative moment, it feels more like everything is just completely unraveling? Let's figure out what's going on here.
So does any of this sound familiar? The second you try to slow down, your thoughts just take off. They start racing. The fatigue somehow gets even more intense. Your body, instead of relaxing, actually braces for impact. And there's this sense of dread or just unease. Look, if you're nodding along, I want you to hear this. It is not a sign that you're bad at resting. It's a very real, very physical response that's pointing to something much deeper going on.
And that brings us to what might be the single most important idea we're going to talk about today. It's a total reframe. This feeling, it has nothing to do with willpower. It is not your fault. Seriously, let that sink in for a second. Your exhaustion is not a personal failing. It's a physiological outcome. Think of it this way. It's actually a predictable result. It's what happens when a nervous system has learned over a long time that the only way to survive is to just keep moving. Because for a while there, stopping just didn't feel safe.
And here's the key thing. Your nervous system adapted. That's what it's designed to do. It learned that staying alert, staying productive, that was safer than slowing down. Over time, motion literally became its go-to strategy for feeling in control. This wasn't a mistake. It was actually a brilliant survival strategy at the time.
And that really is the heart of it, right here. You are not broken. You are simply adapted. Your system is just running an old piece of software, a program that was super useful for a while, but now it's the very thing that's creating the burnout you're so desperately trying to get away from. Okay, so this brings us to what I think is the biggest aha moment in all of this. We're going to talk about the critical distinction between what real rest is and what most of us actually do when we're exhausted. Seriously, getting this difference, it changes everything. So what most of us think of as rest, turns out it's often actually collapse or shutdown. You know the feeling. It's when you hit a wall and just everything goes offline. We're talking about that deep brain fog, feeling numb, or just wanting to withdraw from everyone and everything. This is a survival strategy, folks. It is not recovery. It's what happens when stopping feels less like a gentle landing and more like a total freefall.
Now, real rest, actual recovery is something else entirely. It's not passive. It's an active process of regulation. It's where your nervous system can gently, slowly downshift, all while you stay connected and present. The key here is you get to slow down without disappearing. It's all about feeling safe enough to settle.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is it's huge. Collapse, that survival mode, it's an abrupt, involuntary loss of coherence. It literally feels like you're falling apart. But recovery, regulation, that's active. We permit it to happen. It feels like settling into yourself. Collapse is caused by stopping without support, while true recovery is built on a foundation of safety and trust.
Okay, so now you're probably thinking, great, I'm a professional collapser. How do I actually recover? Well, that's what we're getting into next. We're going to talk about how to rest without having to withdraw completely from your life. And this idea is honestly a game changer. What if rest wasn't this big escape you have to plan? What if it was something you could just weave into the fabric of your normal day? It's not about checking out of your life. It's about figuring out how to stay in your life, but in a way that's actually sustainable. So how do we actually do this? Well, there's this really beautiful and simple framework. First is pace. This is all about honoring your own rhythm. Think consistency over raw intensity. Second is pause. This is about practicing these tiny little micro rests to let your system settle without totally disappearing. And third, and this one is huge, is permit. This means you finally give yourself permission to release the idea that rest is something you have to earn. It's not a reward, it's essential infrastructure.
And when we say micro-rest, we mean micro. Seriously, these aren't complicated. We're talking about taking just 3 deep breaths as you switch from one task to another. Or just for a second, noticing the feeling of your feet on the ground. Maybe you just ask yourself, hey, what does my body need right now? Or, my personal favorite, taking one full intentional breath after you send an email. These tiny, consistent moments, they're like little messages to your nervous system, telling it over and over that it's safe to settle.
So, where does all this leave us? What does it all add up to? Well, it means we can fundamentally shift our entire relationship with slowing down. And honestly, when you change your relationship with rest, you change your relationship with your entire life.
It really comes down to rewriting a story we've all been told. The old story? It's that rest is a reward. It's something you earn only after you've completely depleted yourself. It's a break from life. But the new story is so much more powerful. It says that rest is non-negotiable infrastructure. It's how you stay with your life.
And this quote just says it all so perfectly. Rest is not where you go when life becomes too much. It is how you stay with life as it is. It's not the emergency exit. It's the very thing that allows you to stay in the room, present, and engaged with your own life day after day.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought to carry with you. What if that deep need you feel to slow down? What if it's not a failure? What if it's not weakness at all? What if it's actually the most intelligent signal your body could possibly send you? An invitation to remain present in your own life. Just think about that. What would change for you if you really truly started to believe that was true?